Hey guys, this is Parker here, back with the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve Part 33 and 34. Yeah, we are continuing Gina's testimony. Yeah, the Snowbook does have a little stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates, and places and stuff, and the last entry there was 31st October, Halloween. It said girls for the place on the date and the name of the mark. There's a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago somewhat. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Keep personal opinion every testimony witness. We require only established fact here. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely. You're skating our holder. Why do you keep talking to him in his full name? What can I deny? The notebook contained the name at the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. Ah! So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the girls on 31st October. I don't even know whether they celebrate Halloween in this era. Reading's still not a strong suit. That ain't the problem, right, Odo? It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. So it's someone from overseas? Let me have a bash at it. Seishiro? Is it Seishiro? Yeah, Seishiro. Jigokyo, right? Oh my god. Were they trying to assassinate Jigoku? What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku Goku? But that's just Jigoku Goku. Seishiro Jigoku Goku? Sorry, not an English name, you're right. Objection. But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku Goku, and I saw him the day before yesterday here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and returned to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the Inspector personally. I don't think so. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Spark Van Zeeks. It's an undeniably logical argument. Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you? She's freaking white. Okay, we will see the bottom of the shoe very clearly now. Pray forgive this discourtesy of feeling my hail chalice was I stand accused of murder while you give 0 bucks. Lord Van Zeeks, the accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing on whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there's one thing I could say unequivocally. That girl is no detective. Eh? What? Nah, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard, reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. Oranges? That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of the trial will go exactly as they clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're whoops. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself by attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? It's Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. Very well, I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glasses in my direction, sir. Counsels for the defense begin the cross-examination immediately. Oh, it's been a while since we saw that. At once, my lord.
Hold it!
I think I'll just press everything because we don't really have a lot of information. If I may, when originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations to the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at his head? No. How many times did I tell you this, Kazuma? I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said Gross? Believing it to be a reference to Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate. Alone. So that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there. But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time, he was making his way to a sea ship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of the notebook. I'll just press all the statements. Oh no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? I'm thinking about Gregson's trunk. There was like a shard or something on it. And it looked like a slash. I don't know why. I don't know why that's not a trunk. So what I told you yesterday, the same name written over and over again. You mean Asashin? Yeah, that's the one. She's friendly or someone, isn't she? No. Were you even listening yesterday? Asashin. The assassin. What? Like, a killer you mean? Yeah. Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of the attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing these plans is someone else, you're saying. If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Ah, then perhaps would it sound like a passport document? Permission for an applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seishiro Goku's life? Gina, can you confirm that? Oh, whoops. Against the final entry that listed Gross and Seishiro Goku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it as it happens. What? It just had a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin? Who was the assassin? Did the assassin kill Gregson? That's what it said. Funny name if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. I mean, Japanese names are just spelled like that, Gina. I don't think it's weird. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. Like, they have a different language, so they'll have different names. Gina. Come on. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So Lord Star was Judge Goku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, after that fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. I'm sorry, my voice is like dying. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I didn't think it was possible. The moon years just got even worse now. Maybe I just keep talking.
Hold it!
What do you mean a criminal? Judge Goku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what father told us? That Judge Goku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was ready to press the case, I'm sure. Yes, of course, you're right. I can't believe he broke the witness stand, though. Like, that's all wood. Just solid wood. It just broke that. It was a pitiful situation, yes. I forgot all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too as it happens. You did? Yeah, he just told you that, like, I think in the previous game. It was considered to be an adjunct to the progressive proceedings. You see, no, not the previous game. The third case in this game. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten its own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No. Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Goku was targeted for assassination? That man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do this work. But then, 10 years later, the Mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now we start to see just how vindicative the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd to take someone's life for that, and he was a witness. He wasn't the accused. The pattern was that the accused of the trial would get killed by the Reaper. No, Jigoku was a witness, so he's not under the Reaper rule. But Kazuma, are you even paying attention right now? Right, I've had just about enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people is cobblers. Come on, Odo. Yes? Why'd you say nothing? Why'd you objection or somewhat? I think there's a lot of evidence that Gregson was a part of the Reaper organization, though. You gotta find a flaw. You do, usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. And like, I feel like the Reaper organization just killed murderers and bad people. They didn't kill innocent people. So I don't even know the morals here, though. The outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the backstones couldn't make a detective. Damn, dude, why are you going on? When this trial is over, you'll forfeit your warrant card, Mrs. Strong. Is that clear? God damn it. I've had it with the lottery. It lies every bitty place you look in this world. And well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I made up my mind. To do what, Mrs. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean? I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Wow, that's the title of this last case, The Resolve of Ryusuke Naruto. Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What an inconsistency? Okay, can I check out Gregson's case again? Okay, yeah, there's slash here. Like, this is not a normal slash on a trunk. Like, okay, yeah, you could drop your trunk multiple times, like, that has happened a lot, but, like, this slash is not normal. Okay. I have an inkling of what Ryusuke is about to say. I don't quite know what it means yet, but yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by Kazuma.
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me? Moi? Is this some intent of filibustering counsel? No. Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting? I said that was inconsistent. You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel, go ahead. What evidence reveals alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asogi has said? Wasn't he talking about the trunk? How would you know about Gregson's trunk that he was carrying?
Take that!
This is the trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, as it is certainly very heavy. What's this? A blood stain, and relatively fresh one too. What? You mean dying grease on all the boss's fish and chips? No. Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it, me, with my nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk, but Kazuma talked about the trunk! Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Yeah, he talked about the freaking trunk! The metal trunk. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport? I don't know, in his pockets? But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st October, where exactly were you? Were you at the ship? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Groves. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryosuke? Kazuma, what did you... Were you at the boat? If I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma's there on the ship, then it could only have been for one purpose, to kill the Reaper? Oh no, Mrs. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Ryosuke, you know the rules. Yeah, evidence. I actually have evidence, Kazuma, so... As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, he proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there on that day, in the same place as the inspector. He was there with Gregson. There's a clue that you overlooked, a secret that Trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point, I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify the court, where in the trunk does alleged clues to be found. Where is the evidence that ties? Where's the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asogi to Inspector Gregson? The shard, and the gash on the right side of the trunk. Like, come on, this is not natural.
Got it!
This is your proof? What do you say to that? Wait, what? Oh. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to inspect it more? Oh no! I only have 3 life left. Okay, I'll examine the shard and then I'll present it. Jeez. Okay, I'll just present this.
Got it!
Just wow, I just had to move the angle on the same spot I presented. Okay. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk there, like a tip of blade. Eh? A blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today. It's the steam blade Karma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it here in this courtroom for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh, your sword appears to be broken, Kazuma. Oh no. The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who is there Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Sogi. Welp, what are you doing over there, Kazuma? Expiry done, Ryosuke. That's the point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Sogi? Yes, on 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk. In order to carry out a mission, were you the assassin? Oh my god! So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? What? Were you sent to kill Judge Shigoku? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You're following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Shigoku? Oh my god. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. Oh boy, I've killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You're never going to do it? We can't believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Shigoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train for London with Inspector Gregson. We travelled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Groves and made for the cabin deck as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Goku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there though. We decided to wait, but you already told us he had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I let Gregson disembark the ship. I spent the night at a boarding house in town and returned to England the following morning. Then why was there a slash at Gregson's trunk? A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It will be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Shigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure. No, how many times do you have to tell you this? Fantasy exists in the Reaper. And end this Richard, agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder. But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? Yeah, could you explain that please, Kazuma? I don't need to answer that. Why? The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. Why aren't you explaining then? If it's irrelevant, why aren't you explaining about it? I choose to exercise my right to silence. Okay. Be that as may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. Alright, well, can we examine the sword? I can't find anything out of place. Okay. I think I gotta be in a certain angle to examine it. Karma, the great blade, is such a thing of beauty. I want to gaze on it for hours. Okay, let's examine the tip of the blade. The tip of the great sword, broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karma's sobs. Kazuma was really taking a swing for that to happen. What happened? Well, I think we examined the sword enough? It is a pretty sword, but... To verify whether Seishi or Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that it hasn't been seen since yesterday. How'd you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Goku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassination at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Steeks? He's just smelling his wine. If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order. Order in court. Order. We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests is supposing have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office if the man can't be located within half an hour. We will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Goku. No one would have to want to harm a harmless Japanese man who only just arrived in the country. Except that is. For the Reaper, wanting to finish up a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago, he was a witness though. He wasn't the accused. I would have to agree. Miss Naruhodo, for the defense's sake, my lord, I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Judge Mr. Jigoku's healthier existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face great difficulties. Oh no. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Oh boy. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Goku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped in the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we're careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we could play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! The cute rabbit charm! Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Harley's ears and not pull! Here goes, then I'm going to do it. Good luck, Miss Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave! Just don't break the doll! Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Scholes. Mr. Scholes? Where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here! What? It's the felt doll talking! Pull the ears again, Miss Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll put all my strength to do it. Heave! Ah! What? The doll is pulling on his ear? What? That's so cool! I mean, it's painful, Mr. Schultz, but that's so cool. Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Schultz, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first class cabin area at the SS Girls. The SS Girls? She left over last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. It's just stuck on his ear, oh my god. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I was struggling to jump the straits of Dover. After we left Breaking Street that last night, we hurried back out of the station by train to the port in order to board this vessel in time. So you mean you already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Holmes, world famous great detective. Recited to perfection, well done. You're a genius, Mr. Holmes, is the only word for it. Ow, 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 ow! Mrs. Sato, gently with the genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Like, it's like a magnet stuck to his ear. Ah, there you are, Mikatoba. You may remember that it was, in fact, I who made the connection to SS Girls. I was in the yard yesterday when we examined the notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We just entered a recess. The trial resumes 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads, then I'm afraid to say... Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I don't know that we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour, but like, how are you gonna give us evidence when you're like far away in a boat? Thank you, Mr. Schultz. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, ow, ow! I shan't be hearing anything. We keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making your receiver operate in that way in the first place, Holmes? Why the Dios would I know? It's Iris' invention, not mine. Damn, Iris. the genius making all these. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Holmes, we have but half done now before the girls put to sea again. If we don't... I forgot how to voice Mikotoba. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times in Mikotoba when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. The investigation? Oh, it's that dude. First class. Cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation in the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry looking fellow. Why you are loitering here? Who are you? I don't know how to voice anyone. My dear fellow, do you not recognize the world famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world traveling great sailor Tichikin Stroganov when you see great detective? I don't think so. Stroganov from the previous game? In the second case? Do you see that, Mikotoba? Shows? Why is Shows written on his arm? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. I don't know, like, if you kind of move the M a little bit, it looks like the number 3. What are you talking about? Leave, now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows only by my name and not by appearance. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You're in the previous game. Or, oh wait, you have a brother? Oh, they're like yourself, piece of shit, man. What? They're brothers? Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. They're related. I'm sure it was. They look alike. 3 days ago, as well for London aboard the ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Shigoku. Goku? There is no one with this name on board, but we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk, he says something about an emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Seishiro's realized that we're after him, has he? What is Shigoku hiding? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No, I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikotoba, be a good man and try to stay his attention away, would you? But how? Make us some excuse so that he leaves the area. Does the great detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses! The plan is ruined! And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Yeah, lock picking. Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in a typically accommodating manner. You mean, like, just having distracted for 5 seconds? This buff dude? How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract the burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Should we use a mousetrap or something? Good man, so the game is afoot.